Welcome to the West Tyne Light Network. Now it's time for Sport Part 2 from the West Tyne and Tynedale, courtesy of the Hexham Courant, whom are celebrating their 150th anniversary of producing the paper. The headline, and we start with cricket, is Wylam conquer the weather to climb the table. In the Just Sport West Tyne League, Wylam won the race against time as they jumped up to third with a third win on the bounce. On a rain-interrupted afternoon which wiped out the rest of the league programme, Wylam were able to complete their games at Stamfordham with just 5 minutes to spare. Chasing 115, they reshuffled their batting line-up to treat their innings as a 20-over contest to achieve their target at 7:25 p.m, a matter of minutes before the league cut-off time of 7:30 p.m. Host Stamfordham were only able to field 10 men, and again looked to their formidable skipper Ian Duncan for inspiration as he opened the baton. True to form, the experienced batsman provided most resistance, and his total of 38 helped tick the scoreboard along, while wickets fell around him. Wylam were full of confidence though, and Mark Rowell chipped in with early wickets of both Sheikh and Riaz to put them on the front foot. Ben Horncastle and Duncan then put up a good fight in the middle of the order, despite Kevin Marshall being in good form by claiming 3 wickets. With Stamfordham on 60 for 5, the rain came down and the teams were taken off for half an hour, and they were eventually allowed back on the field of play. And Marshall came back in fine form, taking 2 wickets in his first over back, which included the crucial one of Duncan for a well-made 38. Wylam would have been confident of pushing on and removing their horse for a low score, but the tail then refused to budge and carried their bats well. Not starting their innings until 6 p.m, Wylam knew they needed quick runs and set about finding the boundary as often as possible. But they suffered a setback early on when the typically aggressive James Teasdale was bowled for 5 by Horncastle. Fellow opener Andy Patton was again in hard-hitting form and made 28 of 22 deliveries by hitting 6 fours, while Mark Wilson made 20 of 27, which included 2 fours. Both batsmen were dismissed by catches, but in came stand-in skipper Ben Duncan and Rowell to take the game away from the bottom club. The latter led the way with 3 fours in his unbeaten 33, but Duncan was also on form with 2 fours in his 25, as Wylam managed to overhaul the score with the third ball of the 20th and in the nick of time. The rain was the winner elsewhere in the West Tyne, but Holtwhistle were able to claim a batting point when they hosted Stocksfield's second 11. With an unbeaten half-century from Michael Parker and 29 not out from Johnny Wallace, Holtwhistle made their way to 156 for 5 before the rain forced the abandonment. Stocksfield were making things tricky with both Tom Hutton and Gavin Todd with 2 wickets. It is as you were at the top of the table, as the points were shared in the top 2 clash between Hexham Leazers and leaders Hayden Bridge. Second place Leazers looked in trouble early on, as the cup final match winners of the previous week, Ben Griffiths made 13 and Ben Thompson made 5, failed to continue their good form. But Paul Newton, who made 31, and Andy Webster, who made 50 not out, brought them back on track until the early finish on 119 for 4. Losing finalists Sumsoft managed 75 for 5 as Matfin Hall's Mitch Ross put them in trouble by claiming 4 for 13. Cameron McKenna had top scored with 23 before being caught by Kelly with a come off Ross, while Ben Wraith was still at the crease on 19 alongside Paul Brearley, who was on 4 not out. Purdue reached the same score at the time of their abandonment, but at the loss of 1 less wicket. Richard Stoker, who made 23, and Gary Chamberlain, who made 18, making the most impact in their game, with Benwell Hill 3-11, who had Dave Archbold, who took 2 for 18, and Ross Marley, who took 2 for 12, with 2 wickets to their names. Jeff Spark, who took 2 for 14 for Allendale, as they welcomed Mitford, who were on 62 for 3, with thanks mainly to Jack Taylor's 27 not out. Now we stay with cricket for the 2020 matches. High-flying Newton are toppled by Leazers. Newton may have reached the halfway point of the league season without tasting defeat, but they went down in a cracking T20 opener against Hexham Leazer's second 11. The table-toppers were their usual aggressive self, and a whopping 197 runs were put on the board, which was chased down by the Leazers with the final ball of the game. Batting first, David Ray posted a half-century with 5 fours and 2 sixes along the way, and there were good contributions along the way from Jim Bulkwill, Andrew Jeffrey and the previous week's hero, Matt Scattergood too. The score looked terrifying for the Leazers to chase down, but they had a few aces up their sleeves, especially in the form of young Damon Watts, who hit 7 fours and 2 sixes on his way to making 62. Trevor Crosby was also in good form with a half-ton as Leazers picked up the required 3 runs to edge the high-scoring thriller. Newton were more successful when they faced Humsoft seconds, the game being settled by a bowl-off after the rain abandoned the game after Newton's innings had been completed. After both teams missed the clear wicket with their 10 balls, it went into sudden death, with Scattergood punishing Humsoft for their missed chance. It was a second successive defeat for Humsoft, who had went down to Wark, who led the way at an early stage after 2 wins from 2. Paul Armstrong and Jack Johnson were the key men for Wark in restricting their host to 71 by sharing 6 wickets. Only Scott managed to reach double figures for Humsoft, but, despite little resistance elsewhere, Wark were unable to get them all out. Opener Greg McConnell wrapped up the victory, the powerful hitter reaching 42 by the time his team had reached their goal in the 14th. Wark also picked up the 2 points when they were met Division 2 Knockout Cup winners Haltwhistle seconds. Tony Anderson, their main man, in the victory as he came in to take 4 wickets and send the visitors packing on 72. Openers Lewis Swallow and Robert Graham provided a good platform for the away side, but the rest of the order were unable to build on it. While Wark lost 3 early wickets, all to Matty Chaudhry's, McConnell was in no mood for sticking around, and his unbeaten 48 guaranteed a 7-wicket victory in the 8th over. Youngster Luke Denethy was promoted to open the batting for Stocksfield 4th-11, and he handled the pressure well to guide his side to a 10-run success over Mitford seconds. Top scoring with 22, he helped his side to 100 runs until he fell to Craig Mole, who, alongside teammate Stephen Halbert, took 3 wickets. Andrew Newton, Bethany Veal and Captain Chris Katnack all chipped in to Stocksfield to put together a decent total. Mitford came close with Captain Graham Potts and Andrew O'Neill inflicting the most damage, but 2 wickets at the expense of 8 runs from Darren White slowed things right down. Despite another solid start by Denethy, complemented by a top score of 21 by Matthew Scandal, Stocksfield started the campaign on a losing foot as they went down to Medhamsley. Stocksfield managed a credible 113 for 7, but were not able to improve with some good bowling for Varun Vivani. Mark Shaw whacked his way to 58 not out with leading run scorer Neil Farrington and Michael Thompson also making their marks to earn Medhamsley the 8-wicket victory. Wylam seconds just edged out Mitford seconds by 2 runs in a competitive game played at the Jubilee. First team skipper Alex Rayner formed a formidable partnership with second string skipper David Teasdale to put Wylam on the way to posting a high total. Johnny Greenwood helping things move along at number 4. Andrew O'Neill responded with a half-century and Mitford threatened to snatch victory but fell agonisingly short. 10-man South Northumberland picked up the points when they met Belsier. Tom Gallagher and Howard Sidney Wilmot putting on 126 runs for the 2nd wicket to earn the glory. Robert Wilson top scored in reply for Belsier, but they were 66 runs shy when their allotted 20 overs ran out. In golf, the headline is Christine Seesoff Captain's Challenge. The Forster Cup played for by the ladies at Bellingham is staying in the family. Christine Robinson, who scored 92-20-72, was this year's champion, finishing ahead of runner-up Di Hutchinson, who scored 94-18-76. She was presented her prize by Shirley Carruthers, last year's winner, whose mother Lily Forster inaugurated the competition. Christine is married to Shirley's cousin to ensure it remains with a family member in a roundabout way. Ladies captain Hutchinson, who scored 89-18-71, did enjoy success in the ladies' medal, ahead of Lorna Thornton, who classed in with 10-26-74. The fourth trophy was won by Chris Clark, who managed 68-5-63, ahead of Dom Rapier 69-6-63, while the Ritson Thompson Cup went to father and son pair Mick and Ben King 49 and Alec Jones and Bob Simpson with 48. The medal championship qualifier was won by Stephen King 77-14-63, ahead of Alan Varty, who scored 75-11-64. There were three Stableford Cup qualifier winners, as Kieran McLaren, who scored 38, Varty 43 and David Dunn 42, edged out respective runners-up Ryan Hyland with 37, Bob Garnett with 42 and Alex Wright. In the ladies' silver basket at Hexham, Fran Phillipson was a worthy winner, finishing 5 shots ahead of the field with a best net and best gross score of 84-16-68. Suzanne Phillips scored 107-34-73, was in second place, with Laura Johnson in third with 87-12-75. Phillipson and Johnson's scores saw them occupy the top 2 spots in the silver division medal. Anne Moyle 95-19-76 came third. Phillips' score secured first place in the bronze ahead of Jennifer Herman with 107-32-75 and Jennifer Banks with 110-34-76. Hexham ladies' third team secured a 6-1 victory over Bellingham in their latest league match. In the latest Thursday medal in the men's section, Andrew Laidler scored 39 and won Division 1. Ross Donald scored 37 and took second, on count back from Jack Shrimpton, who made 37. Terry Fennick made 37, secured a win in Division 2. Alan Wright, with a score of 35, was second, and Paul Rock scored 33 to come third. The Billy Lamb Memorial Salvers was won by David Parkins and Stephen Sisterson with 74, with Mike Ridley and Paul Williams scoring 73 were runners-up, and Dan and Mike Youngas with a score of 71 in third. Dan also marked the day with a hole-in-one at the 13th. Meanwhile, husband and wife team Kenny and Sheila Bell, who scored 36, left the field in their wake, winning the family 4 Treble B. Mike Cass and Yvonne Ricky with 30 came second, and Terry McGarrigy and Kathy Coates scored 27 in third place. Joyce Wood 101-34-67 was victorious in the Tyndall Ladies July medal, finishing ahead of Linda Jones on 108-36-72 and Judith Robson 112-34-78. The FEP trophy went to Colin Gillespie with a score of 45 as he pipped Ken Robinson with a score of 44 into top spot. Richie Kendrick with 41 was third. The 15th Fred Punchin competition at Stocksfield was won by Steve Spence with 62, ahead of Fred McDonald with 67 and Simon Dixon with 67 in third. Both Spence and McDonald qualify for the Trail Trophy. Haltwhistle's Satsa Trophy was won by Blaine Moore with 47, with Ged Wall on 41 and Phil Dalton on 41 also in third. A couple of quick stories now. In bowls, Haltwhistle sealed the West Tyne League title by beating rivals Hexham House 6-1 at the Abbey. Now to equestrian. Alwington rider Georgina Clarkson, 13, has continued a good form with victory in the area of eventing championships. The teenager on a Connemara pony, Orkney's Classic, represented the South Northumberland branch of the Pony Club and won the intermediate section of the Area 2 eventing competition held at Cumwinton near Carlisle. The triumph earned her qualification for the Pony Club Championships to be held at Cholmondeley Castle in Cheshire on August the 18th. And that completes part 2 of sport for the West Tyne Light Network, courtesy of the Hexham Courant, who are celebrating their 150 years in existence this year.